What's up, everyone? It's Future Dakota here, and I didn't really get to explain the challenge all that well because your boy's got some pretty bad ADHD and just kind of gets lost in trying to kind of keep things organized. So I'm going to try to deliver this as organized as I possibly can to kind of explain what exactly is going on. I'm going to do it as fast as possible so it doesn't nearly as long-winded as the previous one. So the MTGA Hardcore Challenge. So we started off with 10 packs. You can do whatever 10 standard packs you want. I chose Outlaws of Thunder Junction for simply like synergy purposes. You know, I feel like the set plays very well with other sets that are in standard and just other sets, period. So it's just the set that I picked. So we opened up 10 Outlaws of Thunder Junction packs. You get 84 cards or something like that if you open up 6 packs of Outlaws of Thunder Junction at paper. So with the reduced number of cards that you open up in Arena and kind of wanting to have that same feel, I decided on 10 just as like kind of a round number. Probably could have doubled it and it would have been probably about the same, but it just, for me, it seemed a lot easier to open up 10 packs than 12 packs. So with those cards, we end up making a deck, hopefully playable, and we play ranked best of 1. And we reward ourselves with every win that we get in ranked. We get 1 standard legal pack. So you do not need to keep opening up the same pack that you started with. We just care about having kind of the starting place, where the best way you're probably going to get synergy is by opening up, the same amount of pack, the same packs from like the same set. So with 1 win, we can get any standard legal pack. So we can get Murders of Karlov Manor. We can get some of like the Dominaria Brothers War stuff. I will probably be avoiding those for a while, just so probably up until rotation. Then we'll look into getting some other cards while also, again, trying to bolster the number of cards that we already have in packs, since we're going to be operating on a lot of 1-ofs and 2-ofs potentially in the series. Any wild cards that are opened while we're opening up packs, whether from the initial 10 or from the other ones that we open from winning, any of those wild cards must be redeemed in that set. So if we open Outlaws of Thunder Junction, we get a wild card. Guess what? The wild card needs to be used in Outlaws of Thunder Junction. We cannot use it in Murders of Karlov Manor, Brothers War, things like that. We will not be using any of the Mastery Pass reward stuff for our deck or any wild cards gained outside of the ones that we open in packs. So for opening up so many packs, you end up getting wild cards. We're not going to be using those. If we get Mastery, we get wild cards from the Mastery Pass, or any packs that we get from the Mastery Pass, we will not be opening. I will probably save the packs that we get from the Mastery Pass to open when we get wins. But, kind of essentially following our rule of every win that we get, we open up a standard legal pack. And I believe a lot of them are just Outlaws of Thunder Junction anyway, so that's kind of where we're going to be staying at from there. Any cards gained outside of opening the packs will not be used. So if we get daily wins, we're not going to be adding those cards to our pool of cards. We're not going to be using cards that we could potentially gain from the Mastery Pack in that way either. The only additional things that we can get besides from winning games and opening packs that way, we will be using the end of season rewards to kind of help our deck and everything. So, you get so many packs, you get gold and things like that for, doing so well in like the ranked ladder and things like that. So, while early on, we're not going to get very many. I believe like bronze, I think you may get 1 pack, and then silver, you get like 2 and so on. But, for that, we'll get the packs, we'll add them to our pool. As far as like the gold and stuff like that we get from completing challenges, wins, or whatever, that gold is essentially going to go to buying packs in the future for when we get wins and stuff. So that is the basic rules. The goal is to make it to the mythic rank. I don't think getting to number 1 is very possible unless we have some extremely good luck. So I guess like possible, but very, very unlikely. So I should say we can further that goal. If we ever attain that goal, we can always find a way to kind of push the limits further. But I think getting to Mythic is going to be a huge achievement of this series. So those are the rules. That's what's going on. I'm going to go kick it over to Past Dakota to kind of go over the deck and everything and open up some packs, because we did get some wins off camera as well to, again, try to kind of help us get to, at least silver by the end of the season. So pretty neat stuff going on over there. I'll let you guys get to the video, and I'll see you all there. What's up, everyone? It's Dakota, and welcome back to another episode of the Magic the Gathering Arena Hardcore Challenge, where we essentially try to take a sealed deck and try to climb the ranked ladder in Constructed. And so far, it's actually going a lot better than expected. So real quickly, I'll re-explain some of the rules and stuff just to kind of make myself super clear, and I'll probably end up doing that for the first however many episodes just to kind of get people acclimated to exactly what we're doing here. So to start the season, we opened up 10 packs of Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and in those 10 packs, we had to come up with a deck that we could then play in the Constructed Best of One in Ranked and basically try to climb the ladder with that. Every time that we get a win, we get a single pack added to kind of our pool of cards to hopefully upgrade our deck. And at the end of the first episode, we actually got a win. So we ended up 1-3 in that video, and I'll say 1-3 overall from here, just because I haven't been keeping track of like wins and losses, when I play offline and things like that. But we actually ended up getting 3 more wins. So we're actually bronze tier 1 right now, and with the potential of being able to get to silver before the end of the arena ranked season. I plan on doing 2 to 3 of these episodes a week, depending on how popular they are. So if you want to see more of these videos, or you want them to come out more frequently, whatever, let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like on the video, as well as subscribing to the channel and ring notification bell if you have not already. And all those things are free, easy ways to support the content that we do here and everything. Again, I'm going to try to play as much as I can on camera, but honestly, I'm pretty addicted to like playing this because this is a really fun challenge to do, and then just being able to kind of play, like, our deck is kind of sweet, honestly. But before we get to showing off our deck, we won 3 games. So we have, I have a 4th pack from opening up, or rather from like leveling up our account and everything. So we're only going to open up 3 of these packs to add to our deck, and we're going to make improvements before we actually get into any matches. So let's go ahead and check out our first Outlaws pack. So we got Unlicensed Hearse, and we had Fibblethip, Loss on the Range. I'm not really into any of these cards. Like Rakish Crew might end up being pretty good because whenever Outlaw dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life, and it makes a 1/1. So like maybe that, but I don't think we really want anything from this here set. Looks like we got a Mythic in this pack too. So we have a common wild card. So any wild cards that we open up from packs, we're going to only use those wild cards in the same set that we open. So we don't get to get a common from another standard legal set. We're only going to get a common from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. So we have a Mythic here, and we actually got a Mythic rare wild card. Same thing, any wild cards that we open are only going to go to cards that have not been opened in the set before, or cards that we have in the set. So we get a Mythic wild card from the Outlaws of Thunder Junction set, and we get a common as well. So that's pretty good. And we have one more pack. So honestly, the first pack was kind of a dud. The second one, pretty good to us. Chris Creso, wow. This green-white desert is going to be pretty decent for us. Not really into anything else. We have an uncommon wild card. So we have a common, an uncommon, and a regular wild card. And we have Bruce Tarl, Roving Ranger. Oxen, you control have double strike. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile the top card of your library. If it's a land card, create a 2/2. Otherwise, you may cast it until the end of your next turn. This card might end up actually making the cut. I know I kind of wanted to get away from white, maybe make it more of a splash, but I guess white could potentially just be a really good color combination for us to be into. So let's go ahead. I'm going to kind of figure out what I want to do with these wild cards. We're going to go improve the deck, and then we'll be right back. So here is the deck here. We are going to be using our wild cards on a 3rd copy of Blood Hustler, a 2nd Raven of Fell Omens, and Gissa the Hellraiser. There's nothing really in the Mythic slot that I absolutely wanted. There's like some other cards that I could have played, but I just kind of feel a lot better having this card just because I think this is absolutely insane if we can get it going. We've seen that we have a pretty decent crime committing deck, and we can commit crimes basically at will. So I think this is just definitely going to be a good addition to the deck. Raven of Fell Crimes is another way that we can kind of chip in. I feel like that there's been quite a few games that I've played with this deck where I'm just missing just a little bit of, like burn damage in a way, like where we can attack pretty decent, but of course like one removal spell and we're basically done. So I think having Raven just as a way to kind of, nickel and dime our opponent in a way is going to be pretty good. Blood Hustler kind of gets to do the same thing with their activated ability. And of course, whenever we commit a crime, gets a +1/+1 counter on it. So this eventually can get really big, for only 2 mana, like essentially as long as we're getting like uncommon wild cards, I think I want to go up to a play set of Blood Hustler if possible. And of course, we have Vadmir New Blood, which kind of gets more of a benefit, I guess, of getting +1/+1 counters from committing crimes, and ends up being just a huge, annoying pain to kind of deal with. Our white splash has gone down considerably. Now we're essentially red-black with a lot of these crime-committing deserts to commit crimes to help us then splash for things like Jolene and Eartha Joe and Baron Bertram. I haven't added the Bruce Tarl just because I want to see how this mostly red-black version of the deck ends up actually working. We're going to be essentially doing like a lot of trial and error with this deck and everything, and it kind of sucks because we are using our wild cards on other cards, but we're using them on cards that are essentially going to make the cut for the foreseeable future. Definitely want to, I probably actually go up a second Vile Smasher just because this is going to kind of help out, but I think maybe we'll do that next before the 4th Blood Hustler. I think I just want kind of more low to the ground threats that we can kind of play off curve, where if we don't play one of our 3s, that's fine. We're mainly 2s and 1s, so we can kind of go, play a 2 and then play a tap land, commit a crime, and trigger 2 different things, and then go to another turn where we can play, at knife point and then play a crime committing desert, or be able to commit a crime with a 4th untapped mana to then kind of like trigger all of our things. So that's essentially what we're doing. I wouldn't say that we're necessarily trying to like cheese people out, but we are definitely trying to just generate a ton of value very low on the curve, and there have been a few games that we've played against the domain decks and kind of like these other like teamer analysts and things like that, and we've had a decent amount of success. We're just like a few points short before they end up actually being able to stabilize and win the game. So hopefully with some of these additions we are able to kind of keep up in a way. I mean, we, again, at the end of the day, we've only opened up like 19, we've had 19 packs essentially to build this deck, and it's gone about as good as we can hope, and I think the deck is actually pretty solid, and hopefully with this episode we can get out of, the bronze tier and end up moving into silver, being able to use those packs to further improve our deck on the next season and continue our grind towards the mythic rank. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get in some matches. And so here we are for our first match of the second episode. Be sure, again, if you guys enjoy the episode at any point, be sure to subscribe and everything like that, and ring notification bell, as it all kind of helps me out, leaving likes on the videos, comment down below, things like that, just to kind of get things out there. We're going first, and while this hand isn't amazing, we do have, Gulch on 1 into Mountain Blood Hustler, to then we can kind of kill a 1 toughness thing or a 2 toughness thing we need to, and then also commit crimes other way. So I think we kind of have to take what we can with hands like this and just kind of hope. I kind of wanted this to be like, trade one of these lands. Drawing the one of plains is pretty bad when we kind of want to swamp. Cult Conscript enters the battlefield tapped. Okay, so we actually drew Vadmir. So we actually, I'd rather have Blood Hustler die if a creature ends up dying, because Vadmir just, over the course of like a long game can get pretty out of hand. So we'll see. The return to the battlefield if you control if a non-skeleton creature you control died this turn. Okay, so this is just like skeleton aggro. Create a 2/1. No blocks. I think then we'll just go Vadmir. Would like to draw a second red source. We'll commit a crime. It's not going to help us attack the skeleton, but now Vadmir can block the Cult Conscript. Or even the other... Oh, this is Menace too. Okay, well. Whenever it attacks, exile target card from a graveyard. We're kind of okay with that. Forsaken Miner, sure. Vadmir kind of blocked. They could have gotten in with this. That probably would have been fine. So, we have some options. We can kill a 1 toughness thing. Like, I don't know if Ashnod's Harvester, if we really care about that. And they have, like, a bunch of... I guess if Ashnod's Construct dies, because these are all skeletons, so this is a non-skeleton creature, we can end up dealing 3... With this, we can make 2 treasure tokens, and then we can have Gisa plus Scorching Shot to do some things. So I think that's fine. And we get to commit a crime too, so we can do it to this one. I know they can unearth it and get to attack, whatever, but I don't think we necessarily care. Plus, this is going to allow us to kind of do some things as well. So I think I'm actually going to change course here and deal 3 to this, commit a crime, get some counters on these guys. And probably even no reason to attack or anything. Kind of hoping to draw a swamp, because if we can draw another black mana, or if we can just draw an untapped land rather, we can then get like Gissa going and just generate a ton of value here. But we have a Skullduggery. So I guess that works too. So we can play this. We can end up getting a little aggressive here. Skullduggery is just going to kill whatever creature that they... Oh, wow, okay. So we'll do that, and I guess we can pass the turn. Control no suspected skeletons. So this is suspected. So that's why it gets menace. So basically, I guess it's going to be able to eat whatever. Servant of the Stinger, sure. I think we might actually get a nice little win here. I mean, they have no cards in hand. They just have this Astronaut's Harvester. They need to attack. We don't care if they exile cards from our graveyard. Sure. We'll pass. We can... They did commit a crime, so I guess it's not going to be able to trigger, so we'll do that. And then we'll pay a black mana target creature we control. This is a skeleton, so they can't really even get that back, so we'll just do this. Trigger, commit a bunch of crimes, and then the worst case, we can activate Blood Hustler. That's going to give us the 4th counter on Vadmir, so that's going to give it lifelink and, post-combat Unearth is not going to work the way that you want it to. Yep, and they can see the game. Okay, so we were absolutely just going to run them over. We could have even played the Gold Pan, and then we could kill this Servant. We were going to make more zombies, and then finally just trigger these guys and absolutely go off. Big haymakers here. And yeah, we actually end up winning our first game on camera, which is actually surprising. So yeah, let's go ahead and we'll leave the match, and we get to open up a pack. So pretty neat, honestly. I mean, and getting some gold too. Sweet. That's sweet XP. So let's go ahead. We'll open up another Outlaws of Thunder Junction pack. We don't necessarily have to open Outlaws of Thunder Junction packs. I just don't want to really open up anything else. I kind of want to wait till rotation before we kind of see what actually, we can end up getting. So from here, so far, I mean, we're not really interested in any of the blue cards unless we get some other good like blue fixing. Steer clear. I mean, we're not really playing with any mounts. I don't really want Overzealous Muscle when we're kind of like a low-risk curve. Form a Posse probably could be okay, but I'm not really excited about it. Rodeo Pyromancer, same thing. Just not really interested in like a 4-mana 3/4. I think our deck is actually past the point of wanting a 4-mana 3/4. So our rare is Hellspur Posse Boss. I'm actually in for this one. Even though I just said I don't want a 4-mana 3/4, a 4-mana 2/4 that gives your other outlaws haste and makes 2 1/1s when it enters. If we can pair this, some draws where we can pair it with like Eartha Joe, like this is just going to generate a ton of value. So I think Hellspur Posse Boss definitely makes a spot in the deck. So we will head over there and make some changes. So here really quick before we get into our next game, I put in the Hellspur Posse Boss that we just opened, and we actually ended up cutting the erasable Wolverine from the deck. Being an Ohio State guy myself, the Wolverine just did not fit into the system here of what we got going on. But we kind of have this nice kind of outlaw, like crime committing theme going on. While Posse Boss is not going to really fit into the crime committing, since the mercenaries can only target a creature you control. So it's not really going to be all that great, but with Gissa being I believe warlocks are considered the outlaws and stuff like that. So, playing this on like turn 4 and then turn 5, like playing Gissa, just being able to attack as well with like the 4/4 and then getting to do things like we did in that other game is going to be pretty nice. And honestly, our deck feels like it's coming together very nicely. The mana base could definitely be a lot better, but, I'm fine with kind of keeping in some of these other white cards just because we're playing them as a splash. And we really don't have like too many white sources where it really shouldn't come up. And with Abraded Bluffs, Inspiring Vantage, we do have a decent amount of red sources, and with like Concealed Courtyard and stuff like that, some white sources as well. So let's go ahead, let's take a look and get into our next match. Alrighty, wasting no time getting into another game here, and feeling pretty confident. Baron is definitely awkward with you know, Archway plus like basic lands. We're on the play. We have 2/2 essentially like a mulligan. I'm gonna be a little greedy. I'm gonna mulligan this. And this hand's pretty good, honestly. So gold pan probably. I don't know if we want to actually like. I don't think we want to bottom a land, because I think if we bottom like mountain, because we want this kind of land to like commit a crime and stuff like that. So I think I'll just go land go. We can go like Vile Smasher into like Blood Hustler. Kind of want to draw like a 4th land that isn't Abraded Bluffs, just to kind of get that crime value. Magda here is interesting. Oh, the Vile Smasher will definitely at least probably bring out a removal spell for sure. I mean, I'm not blocking the Swift Spear, but you know they could play something like a what's the 2 damage spell? Reckless Impulse. Okay. So they have Mountain 2-drop, and I'm not gonna block. We're not gonna do that. So we can go Magda, make treasures. Well, Vile Smasher is not blocking, so we will attack with it. So then we have Vampire. So Warlocks are outlaws, but somehow Berserker is not an outlaw. I mean, Magda is definitely going to catch a removal spell. If we have a untapped land, we can like Prickly Pear and then end up like dinging our opponent for 2 damage and generating some extra value, if you will. Of course, we have a Festering Gulch here, so let's go Blood Hustler. We're not even going to play this Festering Gulch to trigger a crime, and I actually think that we'll hold it just because we can just Binding Negotiation. So we'll make another treasure. Give us plenty of mana to work with, and if we draw a Gissa as well, if they take care of Vile Smasher or whatever, we can actually play it and then play the Festering Gulch to do it. But I guess we can if we Binding Negotiation them, which might be okay. I think we'll end up doing that then, because I guess it'll kind of end up working out the same if like Vile Smasher like doesn't die. I'm assuming that they're leaving up mana to end up killing something of ours. So we'll just kind of see what they have going on here. So like how I should have muted our opponent from the last one, but you know, like they, you know, talk shit, get hit, you know, you end up losing to just a pile of like bad magic cards. Invasion, right, deals 4 damage to another target battle or opponent and 1 damage up to 1 target creature. So I can't kill anything with that. Stoke the Flames is annoying. Mechanized Warfare, I think I actually want to take Mechanized Warfare. Stoke is kind of annoying, because I guess they'll get to go like land 4, stoke something, or I guess invasion attack, but I don't think that's that good. I think I'd rather just take, would deal damage to an opponent does that. Yeah, so I think I want to get rid of the Mechanized Warfare, and we'll just play this land to kind of enable us to kind of do some things. So let's get aggressive here. Between like the pings and attacking, our opponent could actually be dead pretty soon. So I mean, this could be like a stoke. They could stoke our face to 13, attack for 4 down to 9, but then they just have Invasion of Regatha. They have an unknown card. So definitely going to be a little close. Prickly Pear will kind of help us here. Are they going to go and kill... They're just going to kill Magda? That'd be kind of sick. Maybe the discard spell was a little aggressive, because then we could have just, you know, played, held the land, played the land, made our 3rd treasure, or I guess even like played the land anyway, played Prickly Pear and had done that. But looks like they're going to deal 4 to us, and then 1 to the Magda. So they're going to hit us to 9. Or I guess attack the battle. And they could just, if they have like a 1 damage spell, then they could go after this. Vadmir. Alright, that's pretty good. End up dealing a damage to our opponent. We'll play a Prickly Pear, and then this is going to kind of help us to be pretty aggressive, honestly. So we just end up getting to deal damage to our opponent. I mean, they're at 1. All they have is Stoke to Flame. I mean, we might steal this game from mono red. They have to have a lot of burn to throw at us and get through our team too. If we draw an Outlaw and Vile Smashers on the board, we end up winning the game. If they do nothing, then they have to essentially kill all of our threats. So Stoke on Vadmir is pretty good for us. And I mean, like, if they want to... What's this? So Prowess, whenever non-creature source you control. So one at us... I guess I don't care if I take 2. Like, I think they kind of have to send both, but I mean, I'm kind of fine with going here, because even if they kill this, and I think Bertram is lethal. Yeah, it's a Vampire Noble. Rather, it doesn't do anything. So here we go, attack with both, and we end up winning 2 games in a row. Holy gosh. We actually ended up beating Mono Red, which would be a deck that I'd worry about since we kind of like want to dirtle and things like that. So, man, we are on what we call a heater. 2 games in a row. That's amazing. And we get to open up another pack, so let's go ahead and open up an Outlaws of Thunder Junction pack. So from here, Magebane Lizard, if we ever end up actually getting enough playable cards, it might be okay. 4 mana 4/3. I wasn't into 3/4. Kind of don't want the 4/3. Outlaw Medic could be kind of interesting since it is an outlaw. Not only in name, but in, type, I guess. So, pretty neat. Lazav, if we could get some more, like, black or more blue, like, dual lands and things like that, I think playing Lazav could potentially be a thing just because we do commit a lot of crimes. So, this could be a way that we end up, getting to kind of have some pretty insane creatures and stuff like that and, like, have ways to commit crime. So, our rare is Ariete the Beguiler. So 4 mana 4/4 lifelink. Whenever an aura you control becomes attached on it. All right, so basically we got nothing from this pack, but nonetheless we are, we're on a roll. We're 1 win away from getting out of bronze, and honestly, with how everything started, I'm surprised that we are getting to bronze. We're at this point that we're at now. 1 game away. I hope that our hopes are not immediately dashed by it. I mean, surprisingly, when I'm playing in bronze, I played a lot of like the tier 1 to tier 1.5 decks in the standard format. So definitely surprised that we've kind of gotten paired into more of the tier 2, probably tier 3 decks of the format, and have been doing well so far. This hand we get to be on the play. I don't know if I necessarily like it. It's not even really that aggressive. I can't cast this Form of Posse. We're going to be a little bit more aggressive, and I guess in a way slightly paid off. We can actually cast this Eartha Joe. I don't know if we want Nizumi or Desert's Dew, but Desert's Dew is going to end up dealing with like a 3 toughness thing. It might be the Skullduggery, and of course we're probably going to end up regretting it at some point, but at least we need to lead on Festering Gulch. We get to go Desert's Dew on turn 2. We can curve into Jolene on turn 3. Playing against another mono red deck, so kind of glad that I had the Desert's Dew. We end up drawing the Skullduggery anyway. So I'm going to get rid of the Swift Spear proactively. I'm not going to mess around with it. We don't have any crime committing things, so waiting another turn doesn't really help. Even now, like if we draw like a 2-drop, one of our 2-drop black cards, we can't trigger it right away. Here comes the Show Off. Of course, right on cue, or rather not on cue. So I think I'm actually going to lead on... Jolene. Just create a tapped token. Create a treasure token. So in theory, if we get to attack with this Jolene, we can attack, make the treasure token, play Blood Hustler, Skullduggery, and get to commit a crime. While the Slick Shot Show Off is probably going to kill us. We didn't see it in the last mono red deck that we played against, and with Monstrous Rage and everything like that, we could. I don't know if we would necessarily be dead, but we're going to be pretty close. Yeah, and Play with Fire, getting rid of this is going to be a super feel bad moment for us. as we're going to kind of hope that we can dig out of this. And with all these black cards and nothing really to do, we're in pretty bad shape. So this is going to be able to block. Might as well get this down. And looks like we started off pretty hot, but now we're going to kind of spiral down the drain here. Opponent Reckless Impulse, looking for a 1-drop or just more spells to cast. And it looks like, you know, if they have another land, so yeah, they can just Reckless Impulse again. This is going to be 6 damage, and I don't think we can actually win the game from here. Man, if they have... I guess even if they have like another creature, what does this do? They can't even like necessarily do anything with this. Yeah, and they have Play with Fire as well. I'm going to pretend like there's something that we can draw. We will commit a crime on our way out the door. But yeah, we end up losing another game, or you know, our first game, I should say, of this video and stuff. And honestly, we might have to wait just one more match, but you know, again, I'm feeling a lot of confidence playing the deck and everything, so you know, hopefully in this next one we can take it down. So here we are for another match here, and 3 red cards, and we have our Black Splash Desert. I mean, we do have removal. Again, getting to win these die rolls and then having to mulligan to 6 feels pretty bad. But we have this hand on a Mold to 6 as well. So we'll keep this. We'll put Form of Posse to the bottom. And this is actually going to be really good for us because, I mean, a little unfortunate if we end up drawing a 2. But we can kind of like play, you know, I kind of want to draw another tap land. It looks like we're playing against like humans. Gross. Ooh, okay. So here we go. Forsaken Miner. Want to draw a red source here. I guess we can plot the Stinger back if we need to, and well, that's probably what we'll end up doing on turn 3, because then we can just play, you know, land Prickly Pear. We don't care about this. You can attack for 2 if you want. About as free as what free can get. There we go. Alright, so black mana. Plot the Stinger back. I don't know what mono white could potentially have to deal with a Stinger back, but we're going to find out, because we're going to be able to have it as a 5/5, and it's going to kind of block this Adeline and stuff. You know, decently nice for a little bit. Shoot the Sheriff, non-outlaw creature. I kind of want to... can actually go shoot the Sheriff, the Adeline... play the Stinger back. It's going to be a 5/5 attack with the Miner because it is not blocking. And we have a turn where, I mean, we could potentially have this up to a 6/6. I mean, if we find like a 2-mana spell to play, then, you know, this will be just the full 7/7. We're basically hoping to dodge like Ossification, I think, is like what mono white has of kind of dealing with like a Stinger back. I don't know what... okay, Knight Errant. That's pretty problematic. Didn't want to tap the Thalia, so definitely wants to have... I guess have defense back for the Miner, but... oh, they have Brutal Cathar too as well. Alright, well... you know, not to sound like a Debbie Downer, but that is kind of brutal. So we can attack with this. I mean, I was only assuming that it's getting Brutal Cathar, so... it's going to attack... and hope that they can't amass lethal through this, and maybe, like, I guess they have only 4 mana, so they can, I mean, if they can like double Copper Coat, that's pretty annoying before they Brutal Cathar, or if they just go Brutal Cathar. Oh, they have Ossification, okay, and they have to pay 1 more for their Thalia. Funny. And I don't think we necessarily have a way of getting rid of that. Not too many good attacks for them, but they're going to anyway. So we can go here. We take 8, 9, 10, 11. We go to 2. We lose our creatures. I don't even know if we necessarily have anything super good. So I guess we can go like this, take 8 down to 5. That is not going to help us. We'll do this way, because then we can kind of get some value by picking up this Heath. Ooh, Graveyard. And I think we're basically dead here. I guess not technically, but they're going to get to slam Brutal Cathar. So as long as they do that, they will be A-okay. Or I guess Copper Code does it as well, because then we just block like these things and we take 9. Yeah. GG's, I suppose. Although I guess not technically. Were we dead? Yeah, we're at 5. We blocked those 3 things. We take 6. Yeah, dead. Unfortunate. All right, fine, whatever. We'll have to wait a little bit longer. All right. Dark Wolf's Asylum. All right. I hope that you are a victim to get us into the bronze, or into the silver tier, excuse me. And this hand looks pretty decent. Definitely wants another land, so we'll keep this. I mean, I guess we're not going to be able to 2-drop haste, but, you know, we have something we can do. You know, if we draw a 3rd land, you know, we can either derailment something or knife point to kind of give a little bit more value to this explosive derailment. Our opponent mulligan to at least 6. Well, probably just 6 because we did get to decide to be on the player on the draw first. So we'll go Swamp Lava Spur. All right, so it looks like they are the dumb, like, Teamer Analyst deck, which is a little unfortunate for us, I would say. So I think we just need to go Vadmir Pass, and we're basically going to leave up Derailment for, I don't know, probably their, like, Analyst, I'm guessing. I mean, they're going to get to potentially mill cards, but not really. So I'm going to try to go for max value. As, you know, we have Desert's Dew, we have Explosive Derailment. We'll probably Derailment, or I guess we can Desert's Dew because then we can technically give, like, boots to the thing, but, you know, them just keeping up on this not doing things thing is pretty annoying. So they get to Riveteer's Outlook, Swamp Mountain Forest, they get a Forest. They probably have, like, the Virtue or whatever. Yeah, Virtue of Strength, return the land to the hand. Oh, not very good of you, sir or madam. So we can't explosive derailment anything. They don't have an artifact for us to blow up. Can't does do anything. This is definitely looking pretty bad for the home team here. We're gonna discard a card. We're gonna get rid of Bertram. Like, these removal spells will eventually get pointed at something, and we end up missing all land. So extra unfortunate. We'll just hook up the boots and pass the turn. And Resurgent Animist, yeah, they're going to be able to go get an Analyst, produce some mana, and the best we're going to be able to do is to kind of, you know, blow up their, kind of like their board that they have going on. Unfortunately, we didn't hit a land there, because at least if we drew another land, we could have, man, they have so many lands in here. If we drew another land, or if we drew a land from that, we could have had another land for us to kind of, like, blow this up a little bit here. And still continuing to miss on lands. To attack. First strike, and then they're going to get to Analyst no matter what we do. So this is just going to get -2/-2. I can't even kill the Nissa. I think I just need to kill the Nissa. It's not really going to do us any good. I think we're just, like, so far behind at this point that I'm basically just kind of hoping for a miracle here. So, I mean, now we get to double spell in a way on our turn. But again, it might just be too much, because they're just going to... They have a follow-up Nissa. Think of, like, land Nissa, I guess land Nissa, and then, like, Cracked Aftermath Analyst, which is not the play. So we have another Desert. We're going to trigger some Crimes. Sure, crack the Analyst. So they're going to gain 6 life and get a ton of lands. They're going to get to slam this Virtuous Strength, and we're, at that point, pretty unlikely, but we're essentially hoping to dodge the World Souls Rage. So not the best situation for us. Now can I have my stuff, please? Thank you. Fully knowing that it kind of doesn't matter. We'll play Gold Pan. And then we can equip to this creature. Actually, I think I'm going to sacrifice the treasure token to equip here, because then we can give this haste and have it tap to give this power, so then a block with the Analyst doesn't actually bounce off of it. I mean, it doesn't matter, because like they're gonna get to like do this anyway, and they're gonna get a ton of lands out. They're gonna get the rest of the lands out of their deck. I mean, at this point, we're essentially hoping to dodge the thing, and this is the power of like the Analyst deck for sure. They just get to kind of do all these busted things, and I guess I shouldn't say that like this is necessarily busted, because if they had the Nissa, they would have had like an unholy amount of mana and just absolutely get to go off. And now they can just slam this Virtuous Strength, and I think even still maybe have enough mana to kill us. So they have 10, 12, 13. They're going to tap 7, so I have 6 left, 18. So I guess technically not, but they're also going to get like a bunch of these lands back as well. So I guess it just depends. They definitely aren't in any danger of dying. We only have 8 power. We can go up to, 10, I guess, with, 11? No, 10 with a crime committing thing. So they're just going to 12 us and then get 12 of their lands back. I don't think it necessarily matters. So they're going to gain 6. They're going to go up to 30. So best case scenario, we're just going to hit them for, a third of their life total. Even if they don't have lands to get out of their deck, these are still going to gain them life, which is kind of what makes it hard for us, because we're essentially kind of like a bad, I'm going to say a bad aggro deck. I mean, we're essentially a bad aggro deck. We'll do this. So we get technically an extra point, I guess, out of this by getting to move this over to the Hustler. And I'm going to say it doesn't really matter, so we're going to attack. Then for 12, pass the turn, and we wait to get World Souls Raged again for a bunch of damage. And Virtuous Strength, I guess, if they just have it here, I don't know if they necessarily need to, with double colorless mana up, if they need to do anything else. Fires of Victory, kicked. Yeah, you have to pay 1. So I'm assuming they kick this too, so they get to draw a card. So maybe they're just digging for something. Spelunking, sure. So they have 3, 6, 9, 12 mana. 15. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. And they pass the turn. Alright. Exile target creature. We don't have a way to commit a crime, so we're just going to play this dude. Might as well haste it up. Then we can actually... So, it doesn't matter if we ping them for 1. I guess in a way it does. Yeah, whatever. And then we can go equip this here. I guess we do that. So it's 6, 8... 10, 12, and we go to 4. I guess it doesn't matter. They have so much. We probably could get away with like just gaining more life, but the fact that they have 16 lands in play, like they only have 27 cards, so they're gonna get to look at 11. So they're essentially going to find it. Like the rest of the World Souls Rages are gonna have to be at like the bottom of their deck, because then they're going to flash this back, and it's very unlikely that we end up winning. I wouldn't say necessarily impossible, but it is not good for the home team. Maybe they like accidentally forgot to, do the rest of their World Souls rages, and they thought that like, people would concede at this point. Probably unlikely, but you never know. As Fred Durst said, you never know when you're gonna go. My God. And probably a record for the longest match that we've played in this series so far, and it's infant stages, two episodes, and we are just continuing to wait for our opponent to kind of go off here. They gain 12 life. Okay, so now they're going to deluge. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 25, 26. I mean, if they found it, then it's game over. If they don't, it actually gets interesting, but I doubt that they didn't find it. Yeah, I would have highly doubted that they didn't find it, but they might have actually been dead if all they did was they ended up just passing the turn. It definitely was game over. I mean, we end up making another 1-2 or another dude. I mean, we could have even it could have gotten interesting, but they had it, so it is what it is. Let's go ahead and play another game. So back with another match, and we have Concealed Courtyard. We have Lava Spur Boots. I guess we can go Lava Spur on one, or like Miner on one, then play Boots, pick up, and kind of what else are we doing? I don't know if that's going to be aggressive enough. This Aired Archway, like as a 1-of, has been so bad for us. I'm going to mulligan, and this hand might be worse. I've drawn this 1-of Lava Spur Boots so much, and honestly, like when it's been good, it's been good. So our opponent kept a hand of 7. We're probably not winning this game, and I don't know if this hand ends up winning either. I think I want to go to 5. All right, well, this hand's a little bit better, so go Mountain to the bottom, Consuming Ashes to the bottom, and we're essentially going to kind of hope that our opponent is playing non-outlaw cards, so at least the Shoot the Sheriff can do something. Oh, they're going to Dirtle? I think they're going to Dirtle. Well, I don't think they have anything that they're going to play on 2 that we're going to want to kill. I guess they could. Probably a reason to run out like Blood Hustler instead of Vadmir. Just the fact that they could just go, say, Torch Proving Ground. So Jun, yeah, that's not good enough. So let's go. No reason, at least in my book, to kind of like play the land. Whatever. I mean, there's not really there's not Mana Tithe in this format. So Farmland, untapped. Stomper, you are not an outlaw, and that's going to trigger these knuckleheads, so I guess you're also not a, I guess, technically, this can attack next turn, but it can't block anyway, so I think we'll just kind of be mana efficient. We'll drain them and attack for 5. I mean, I guess there could be a world where they swamp Leyline Binding. Alright, that's annoying. Sure, I mean, Vadmir's like the more pertinent of the two, I would say, to get rid of. They have like second Terra Stomper, that sucks. Alright, Spelunking. Get along, little Scorpion. So Rafine's Tower, so I think that gives them, yeah, another Leyline Binding. That's a super, I know I say that's annoying, but like that is definitely annoying. You are a terrible person. So we'll do this. Don't know if it's going to matter. I don't think these decks play like counterspells. Ren and Realmbreaker. Alright, so this is definitely a weird version of Domain if I've ever seen one. Sure, whatever. So you get to make something a 3. Mill 3 cards, put a permanent card from among them into your hand. So maybe hoping to find a land. They did, so they get Deathcap Glade or Ren and Realmbreaker. So I guess the Deathglade Cap lets them attack with the Stomper. I'll just do this now. And I guess you got me if you have a Counterspell. Definitely want 5th untapped land. They used 2 Leyline Bindings on dumb things. I guess I should have been more specific. I want to untap land. So at least now if we draw, it's probably not going to matter because like we're going to be worried about other Leyline Bindings. They have a Traxa. Probably can't race that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to concede to that. On a Moldify, that was going to be pretty rough anyway, so it's a little unfortunate there. But let's go ahead and let's try to get another one. I want to get to silver. Damn it, let's go. Honestly, who would have thought that the basically sealed deck would kind of go on a heater to start and give you so much luck, and then you just come back down to earth by playing some of the maybe not necessarily like tier 1 decks. I mean, the Teamer Analyst deck is certainly has to be one of the best decks in the standard format. Definitely at least in best of 1. I can't imagine there's very many people slamming main deck Rest in Peace. Playing against Unknown. Hopefully the Wandering Emperor takes it easy on us, and clearly they are not because they gave us both of our mountains in a handful of black cards. So we're going to mulligan, winning all the die rolls. So, I mean, that's at least something for us. Highway Robbery, I kind of want to keep the removal. So I think I'm just going to go land pass. I'm going to play Vadmir on 2, and then we have a, Desert's Due for... We have a Desert's Due to commit a crime, and then also... I mean, we're going to commit a crime with this Abraded Bluff too, but, we at least can commit a crime and then do so... Ooh, Outland Liberator? Alright, so we get to play this tapped, commit a crime... This thing's going to flip into a 3/3. But I think I want to try to get a counter on this. We'll take 3. See what they end up playing. Cemetery Prowler. So we'll just kill the Frenzy Trailblazer. Or Trap Breaker, excuse me. And then we can Explosive Derailment this. And then this it goes up to a 5/5. Or we could do this now. I'm really tempted to let this live. I'm tempted to play at knife point, commit a crime, make a 1/1, put a counter on this, attack for 5. Where we can play this, attack for 5, put them to 11, leave up derailment. This spells cost 1 less to cast for each card type that shares with Cemetery Prowler. Cards exile with Cemetery Prowler. So I think I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop on their upkeep. We'll attack. Continue to be greedy, and then we're just going to derailment this on their turn. And now, this thing is just... It's going to be impossible to race what we have going on with this. Baloth, sure, gain 4 life. I'm going to be able to absolutely erase this. So, unfortunately, we're not drawing any other spells, but, if we're just going to be able to commit crimes and things like that, I mean, a 7/7 Menace Lifelinker is nothing to kind of snub your nose at. It does get stopped by exactly 2 Obstinate Baloths, though, so I'm definitely calling their shot. Look at that, 2 Baloths. Oh, and they're attacking? Okay, I guess we have first strike, too, so I mean, what are we really worried about? Wow, yeah, we're up to 28, and we'll pass the turn. No reason to play the land. Third Baloth. They're going to leave the whole team back. So commit a crime, do the thing. I mean, they have to block with all of them. So they block with all of them. They lose 2 Baloths. I lose the Vadmir. A little unfortunate. So I attack. They have Baloth versus these with 2 cards in hand. The Vadmir's kind of the only offense that I have going, but again, this forces just the triple block. They go to 2. And then they have, they have one creature versus these 3. Yeah. I guess unless they forget that these have first strike, and I think they might have. So, I mean, they get to eat the Magda. Like, that's fine. But, like, they take 1. We go up to 36, and the Vadmir's still alive. So, unless they have, like, a removal spell, Spear token, then mill 3 cards, only activate as a sorcery. So, I guess they could just make a bear, too. They have to do this main phase, though. Renin 7, so this gets to make a 6/6. Sure. Again, just still kind of in a spot I don't think you really want to necessarily be in. Now this is going to force... It's going to force a double chump. Wow. I mean, like, we went absolutely insane with, like, Vadmir. Like, who knew, like, when your opponent doesn't have any removal, that a 9/9 Menace Lifelinker just absolutely bodies, like, mono green. Famous last words. So they get a bunch of lands in their hand. They need to produce 2 creatures or a board wipe. Titan of Industry. So this is probably make a 4/4. Make a 4/4, put a shield counter on a creature you control. I'm not even sure necessarily what the shield counter does. I'll have to look at it. Yeah, this is just game over. Wow, yeah, because even if they do that, while we don't necessarily have another way to commit a crime right away, I mean, we just absolutely we attack, they have to block with both, and then, we end up getting in with the rest of the dorks. So we are silver tier 4. We did it. We absolutely crushed it, man. That is absolutely insane. That's definitely a way to end the episode, is just to, open up our last pack from our bronze journey and see what we got. We are not using these cards, by the way. I also didn't think we would get enough wins in episodes anyway to get these. So we'll look, Herbology Instructor. We're not going to get to play with any of the cards that we get as like rewards or anything like that. So something to kind of keep in mind, that we're not going to be doing that. But yeah, let's go ahead and open up a pack of Outlaws of Thunder Junction and kind of see what our deck's going to look like going into the silver tier. So here we are. We're opening up our Outlaws pack as celebrating us getting into the silver tier. And some decent green cards. I mean, again, we're not really, like, we're more or less like black-red. So, like, Outcaster Greenblade, even though we actually have a decent amount of deserts and stuff, like, this could be a way that we could end up, like, splashing and playing more green cards in our deck. We have a common wild card, so that's definitely going to help us kind of be more of that 2-color deck. We'll probably end up getting another red-black duel with that. And we get a second Stingerback Terror. That is absolutely gas. So we're going to make some very easy adjustments to this deck, and definitely not even going to think twice about it, honestly. The thing is, like, playing with these other ones. So I'm going to get us a third Jagged Baron for sure. We're going to get the other Stinger back in here, and we got to cut 2 cards. And I think I want to get rid of... actually, I want to get rid of this Archway. I want to absolutely just get rid of the Archway. I've not... Basically, every time it's shown up, it's been kind of, like, whatever. Like, not even really whatever. It's been, like, actively bad to me. So let's go ahead and get that out of here. What else can we cut? I mean, we do have 5 green sources. 6, technically, for this one, like, Jolene. And really, like, these aren't really that bad. I guess the Crest is kind of the worst one to have, because at least, like, with Festering Gulch, it's black, so we can do that. So maybe we get rid of this Jolene and we just kind of, like, grin and bear the fact that, like, this Crest is going to be kind of bad. But I feel like splashing the green is, kind of okay. So I think I kind of want to cut this Jolene. Maybe Scorching Shot really isn't all that great either. It's like a 2-drop for us. Highway Robbery's been, like, whatever. But, I mean, it is kind of, I think, in some ways, kind of relevant for us to have it. To kind of keep gas going. Outlaw's Fury sort of kind of draws a card, but I don't know if we... I mean, we're playing a ton of Outlaws, too, so we could... And I guess, yeah, technically can draw us a card. Technically, this is a way that we could win the game if we just like kind of go off with the at knife points and things like that. I'm not sure what to cut. I'm not sure what the cut is, and quite frankly, when all of our cards, I can't even say our cards are necessarily bad anymore, because I mean we did win 3 matches, or 3 best of 1 matches. Like that's pretty good for us, honestly. Did I duelist commits crime, scorching shot? I think I want to cut the scorching shot. It's been kind of awkward when we've drawn it. I think that there's enough like double red stuff, like Stingerback we can cast for, red and 2. We just have to wait a turn to play it, which is more than fine. And then like Hellspur Posse Boss, like we have double green on. I think I just kind of want to have like this Jolene. I mean, with the amount of mercenaries and stuff that we can make to make 4-power things, and sort of kind of like this treasure thing, and in a way we have other way, like we have Gold Pan to make treasures, we have Hell to Pay that can make treasures and things like that. A Magda, too, with all the ways that we can commit crimes, can make treasures to make Jolene and all these other things castable. So maybe we could lean a little bit more into like the splash, but I kind of like having a pretty consistent mana base overall. So I think I'm okay with kind of having, very few white cards to play, and like 1 green card to play, and then just mainly being a red-black deck. But yeah, that is going to do it for this episode of the Hardcore Arena Challenge. We finally made it to silver. Absolutely amazing. Honestly, already above expectations. So let's see how far we can take this. Maybe we can get into gold too, and hopefully we can kind of play some of the other people that are playing these more off the wall decks, because if you've made it to this part, that Teamer Analyst deck and kind of like Domain and its weird variants and spinoffs and stuff are going to be kind of difficult for us to handle, especially when we're just playing more of like a value-y like crime deck and things like that. So of course, if you've also if you made it this far, you enjoyed it, everything like that, if you have suggestions, comments, concerns, whatever, please be sure to leave them in the comments down the video. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Any sort of feedback I will take into continuing this series. I think it's a lot of fun, honestly. It's kind of a new and a different way for me to play Magic, and as everyone knows, it's kind of like pulling teeth to get me to play tons and tons of games of Magic, just being a dad and everything. So life's can be kind of rough, but this has been very enjoyable for me, and I look forward to hopefully continuing to do this. So again, show me any support, anything like that in the comments, likes, anything like that. So that's doing me this video. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all in the 3rd installment of the Hardcore Arena Challenge. I'll see you all later.